Hey friends, it's Kelly. Thanks for joining me. I am back with a new layout for the Cut Shop. Today I'm going to be using two cut files. I'm going to be using the Brush Up Alpha cut file and the Selfies and Usies cut file. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the process video. I do not have a Cricut Design Space tutorial for this layout. It's pretty self-explanatory. I just sliced out the individual letters that I needed from the alphabet cut file, and then also the word Usie from the Selfies and Usies cut file, sized them, and then sent them to my Cricut to be cut. I also cut a large circle on a piece of purple cardstock, and then I backed that circle with a pattern paper from the Oh My Heart collection by Pink Paisley that was designed by Paige Evans. I originally thought that I was going to use the same purple colored cardstock for this title, and I cut the letters in white also because I was planning on stacking the letters together to create dimension. But when I placed the white letters onto that pattern paper, I really liked it a lot better than the purple cardstock that I originally had planned on using. So I'm going to go ahead and use the white cardstock for my title. Here I'm showing you the photo that I'm going to be using today, and that is a photo that I snapped in an elevator on a trip that we went to in Chicago, and it's of my sisters, my nieces, Andy, Aiden, and myself. My sister and I were staying at different hotels, and we went to her hotel to drop off her bags, and she was staying in this really neat hotel. It was old, and it had a lot of character and a lot of charm, and the elevator happened to have a full-length mirror, and we were the only ones in the elevator, so I thought it would be fun to snap a photo of us. And the word Usie worked perfect since it is a selfie, but it's of more than two people, which I didn't realize that that was a thing. I thought all of those photos were called selfies until I looked up the word Usie to make sure I was using it correctly. And it's a thing. If there's more than two people in a photo, it's technically an Usie. So I don't know if I was the only one who wasn't aware of that, but it worked out perfect because the word Usie fit on this layout a lot better than the word selfie was going to. Okay, so getting back to the layout, I am now going to stack these letters together to create some dimension. So I cut them, I believe, 4 times, and I'm just going to adhere them all together. It's going to give them some nice height on the layout, so that way they kind of pop off the page a little bit, similar to how a thicker would. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time to get all these pieces put together, and I do it for all of the letters, and I also do it for the word Usie just to make sure that they are even dimension across the page. And in just a moment, I'm going to hold it up to the camera here so you can kind of get an idea of the thickness and the dimension that they have. And then I am going to go off camera for a bit just to finish all of those letters. That way you don't have to watch me go through and adhere all of those letters together. I also added my journaling using my We Are Memory Keepers typecast typewriter. And now I'm going to start working on embellishing the layout. I am going to use everything from the Pink Paisley Oh My Heart collection designed by Paige Evans. I'm going to use a frame from the die cut pack to back the photo. And then I'm also going to use multiple florals from that same die cut pack and just tuck them right along the edge of the circle. I absolutely love this pattern paper. I think there are so many possibilities with it. I love the icons on it that say family and vacation, and then there's another one that says moments or memories, and I thought it just fit really well with the theme of the layout since it is of my family and we were on vacation. So I think this is just so fun, and I am really happy with how this layout turned out. I love all the bright colors. This is probably one of my favorite collections that is out right now. And purple is not really a color that I gravitate towards when I scrapbook. I just find that there are so many different shades of it that it can be hard to match and hard to use. But Paige Evans is changing my mind on that color. I have used purple numerous times when I have been using her collections, and I'm always really happy with the end result. Now, just a second ago, I brought in some yellow embroidery floss, and I was never planning on using yellow, but I was using it as a measuring guide to try to see if I could fit hand stitching around the outside edge of that circle. It is really thin in some areas, and I was worried that the paper would tear or maybe it wouldn't quite fit if I wouldn't have enough room. And I decided to go for it, and I am so glad I did. I feel like hand stitching always just adds a little something extra and just kind of gives everything a finished look. So I'm really happy that I decided to add that hand stitching. And now I'm just going to start adhering everything down. The layout is pretty much complete and pretty much together. I do want to bring in some final touches. So I went to the sticker book, and there's a ton of different options included in that book, including stickers, washi strips, just so much to choose from. I ended up deciding to go with that pink scalloped washi strip, and I just added it right underneath the word Usie. I felt like it gave the title some grounding, and I just like that extra pop of pink. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adhering down all of these letters. I did have to keep some pressure on those letters because they are so thick. I really had to hold them in place for a little bit, and I actually think I put something heavy on top of them off camera just to make sure that they were secure. I am going to add that chipboard banner piece to the top right hand side of the layout, and then I'm going to go back to that puffy sticker that is scallop shaped, and I'm going to trim off just a tiny bit and add it directly underneath the left hand side of the photo. I felt like it just looked a little bare in that area, and that's going to help fill it in and add an extra pop of color. I think about adding the rest of that scallop sticker right above that washi scallop, but when I placed it onto the layout, it was just a little too busy, so I decided against it. I do bring in a couple other things from a couple other manufacturers. I think about adding some of those silver hearts to the layout, or maybe a couple chevrons, but I decide against it. I do go back to the thicker sheet, and I'm going to fill in that area above the washi with a couple of those floral images. And that is the finished layout. It is complete. I'm going to bring it close to the camera here in just a second so you can see it in detail. There you can see the hand stitching and then all of the die cut pieces. I'm really happy with how this turned out. This collection is absolutely beautiful. I know that I have said that once, but it needs to be said again because it is so gorgeous. I love all of the bright, beautiful colors. So here come the still shots of the layout. I absolutely love how the title just really pops off the page. I love the font from the alphabet set and also the font for the word Usie. I just think it really helps tie everything together and is really such a great focal point on the layout. Remember to head to the Cut Shop so you can check out all of the cut files. I will be back again soon with another layout and another process video. As always, thank you so much for watching.